Hello, it's Film Frenzy, and I know this is coming a bit late, but today I'll be comparing the two movie adaptations of Venom. First, Topher Grace's Venom from Spider-Man 3, and second, Tom Hardy's Venom from 2018. So let's get right into it. I'm going to break this down to three separate categories. First, I'm going to talk about just pure acting. I wouldn't say Topher Grace was particularly bad by any means, but he was just so forgettable. I mean, part of that is really just because he was given limited screen time. The movie was so overstuffed with villains like the new Green Goblin, played by James Franco, Venom, of course, I mean the main Spider-Man, played by Tobey Maguire, and then also Thomas Hayden Church's Sandman. So there's just a lot going on. So there's limited time for like Topher Grace to show off his acting, and doing so he just kind of became forgettable. Like he was just very generic. I thought he was kind of just a little too like whiny sometimes, and I thought they just didn't do a good job at characterizing who Venom is and stuff. Like I feel like Topher Grace just wasn't the right like person for the role. Like he's kind of more of like a punk kind of like type person, but I feel like Tom Hardy was just kind of better as like an acting like just a casting choice because he's kind of got this like gruff like a little bit older than Topher Grace was aspect about him that makes him perfect for the part. I thought Tom Hardy was really the best part of Venom as the movie. Like, I know lots of people didn't like it. I personally did. But what everyone was saying is the big draw is Tom Hardy. His performance is remarkable. It's on many different levels, including drama, dark humor, some horror, just like going just pure lunatic crazy, like jumping into the lobster tank. There's just all this great stuff, and I just have to give it to Tom Hardy as Venom for winning this acting category. My second category to discuss is the character development in their respective films. As previously mentioned, Spider-Man 3 is overcrowded like crazy. This is like one of those original superhero movies that was just served as a template of what not to do for other superhero movies, so they don't have three freaking villains that just make the story so just congested and don't give enough time for any of them. I would say Sandman was probably the best developed villain in that film, but that made Venom pretty much the weakest of them. He didn't have much to do. He was just kind of basically a reporter who was kind of like angry at Spider-Man. He didn't like Spider-Man getting all this attention. He hated Peter Parker. They had a rivalry. They both worked at the Daily Planet. Then he got the symbiote in him from Spider-Man accidentally. I thought it was kind of dumb how they did it. It seemed too like just kind of like contrived how like Eddie Brock would get the symbiote, but that's besides the point. And then he becomes Venom, and he just gets angry and just like fights people and stuff. And he's just a pure villain. But in the comics, he's really an anti-hero, and I feel like neither movie truly shows him as an anti-hero. In the case for Venom 2018, which beautiful poster right here, they show him more as a superhero with some like darker side. It's kind of like Deadpool, but that's good enough. That's better than Eddie Brock in Spider-Man 3. And this one, I love how he develops a story. Like he has this big, like he has a lot going for him, and then everything just falls down, and it really sets up a vulnerable character, and that's amazing. Like as you saw in the image before, there's a great relationship between him and his wife, or I guess his fiance, played by Michelle Williams. She's an amazing actress, probably a little underutilized, but she still has some great conversations with him, really well-written conversations in my opinion. And he loses his job, and he loses her, and this is all in like the movie's first act, which I absolutely love the exposition of Venom 2018. And basically sets up for him to be vulnerable, and he's kind of he's done with being a reporter and trying to investigate the Life Foundation, which is the one that's like testing this Venom symbiote, and then eventually he gets contaminated in the lab because he goes back. And it's just a really great like development for setting him up for Venom, and then as Venom, he like learns to grapple like with it and become like one and stuff. And even though the actual Venom symbiote, I thought the character development, even though it did have some, it was a little bit too like forced. Like all of a sudden, it was like supportive of human society. I thought overall it's still a lot better than the misuse of Topher Grace in Spider-Man 3. So neither film did it perfect, but Venom did it much better. So it's 2-0 for Venom 2018. Finally, I'm talking about the suit and other visuals associated with Venom. there's no denying that this is super cool looking. Yeah, the movie might have a lot of flaws, but in terms of visuals, I think it's pretty awesome. There was that big fight scene at the end that was kind of a letdown, but other fight scenes were nice. And in this category, it's really just about the actual character of Venom and the visuals associated with that. So I think the CGI with the symbiote, how it comes out and like talks to him, that's super awesome. That's something they didn't do at all in Spider-Man 3. And how it like morphs into different people. It's not just Venom, but there's Riot, who's another symbiote who's like the villain of the film. I think that's really cool. I think they just did it in a very interesting way. They add personality to the Venom suit character also, because it's a living being. I feel like in Spider-Man 3 it was more just like a drippy suit kind of came on you, but this treated it more as like its own creature, which I like to see. And obviously CGI is stronger now than it was then, but they usually use that to its benefit, and they make it so cool looking. I think the suit is really awesome. Like, they really get the right aspect of him being like a hulking massive figure, and that's something that Topher Grace as Eddie Brock, I feel like that wasn't really the case. It just kind of looked like Spider-Man but with a black suit, and that wasn't that good. The eyes, I think, also kind of look a little strange with the original. I like the new one a little bit better, and yeah, I know the tongue of the new one, like that big, like, weird looking tongue that's kind of thick, and I don't know, it's disgusting looking. I'm not sure if I like it or not, but it's still better than like just the old one. I thought it was just kind of like a generic Venom suit. The teeth were a little bit too small. I like the new one. It has the massive just like choppers. I think overall this one just looks a lot more menacing, and I think that's just way better. So you know what that means. 3-0 sweep for Tom Hardy and Venom versus Topher Grace in Spider-Man 3. So there you have it. That's my take on which Venom is better. I think it's easy win for this Venom. Spider-Man 3 isn't a terrible movie, but unfortunately Venom was very underutilized, so he's one of the weaker aspects of the film, and I'm really glad they made a new Venom movie because it finally gave the character movie justice. Even though it wasn't a perfect movie, check out my full review, which I'll link in the description below. It was still very enjoyable, for me at least, and the audience too. The audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is fantastic, even though the critics are a little too harsh on it, in my opinion. So, overall, Venom is better, so thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this comparative video. So like and subscribe for more awesome film content at Film Frenzy. See you guys later. Bye.